Welcome. I'm Sara Schaefer. We live in hell. Let's craft through it. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back. I am so excited for today's episode. I'm so thankful for everyone's great response to the tour of my craft room. I have kept it mostly clean. I'm working on a huge project right now. I've mentioned it before. It's my first art exhibit. It's not an art show where you sell your art. It's an actual exhibit, I guess, is what you would call it. A gallery, if you will. It's a small gallery that's just basically like a display case in Brooklyn at the Doghouse Art Gallery. I'm going to be posting information about it soon. It's coming up quick. It is opening on June 13th and will run to July 27th in Brooklyn, New York. And I am so excited, but I have a lot to do before then. This is one of those projects that I've spent months conceptualizing it, brainstorming, researching, and learning new skills in order to achieve my vision. But I'll show you a little bit of what I'm working on. And I am doing a series of small rooms, miniature rooms. And I don't know if I should tell you the concept. Like, I don't really know as an artiste. Do you start sharing like what the concept of a piece is before it's done? Is it like, spoiler alert, I don't know. But I'll just show you what I'm working on so far. So this is the first room. Now look, I've got 2 weeks and my hope is I'll have 3 to 4 rooms done. But in order to do the first room, I'm really taking my time to make sure that everything is the way I want it to be and it's going to look really good. I'm just thinking a lot about the experience of someone coming and seeing it. I have limited space in terms of the depth of the display case and the exhibit. So it's just taken a lot of time of experimenting. I'm building almost everything from scratch in the show is going to be built by me. So the room boxes are built by me. I'm not using kits or anything like that. So it's just taken a lot of prep work. And so now things are starting to really speed up. And it's been so exciting to tackle a new miniature project. I haven't done an elaborate miniature project in quite some time. And I have so many new skills since the last time I did this. And I have this space, which I didn't have the last time I did a miniature project. The last one I did was I was living in my brother's attic, essentially. It was like a third floor, finished off third floor for several months when I first moved here. And I had a little craft corner set up, like a desk of just the essentials. And because, I was doing Etsy, it was Christmas time. And I was getting not super frequent, but some jobs doing miniature set fabrication for a series called Tiny Kitchen. And I got to do 2 projects for them. 3, I don't remember, but it was really challenging to do that kind of work in that space. Now looking back, I'm like, I can't believe I ever built any miniatures in a tiny desk, because now I'm just realizing like miniatures take so many different materials, because like I've said, everything in miniature, essentially you approach making it the way you would make it in full size. So if it's wood, you have to know how to work with wood. If it's fabric, you have to know how to work with fabric. If it's sewing, carving, gluing, construction, design, and I think that's why I like it so much, because it requires so many different skills, and that works with my ADHD brain. And So anyway, I have been having so much fun getting going on this. Whatever happens, even if it's just this one room, I'll make it work. But I'm really taking my time. It's going to be lit. I have like, I had to plan. You have to really plan out when you're doing lighting in miniature because of the way it works. And I have to make it really simple because I don't have to, but I want to because I'm not going to be there. I don't live there. I can't go over there every day and make sure it's like set up properly and the lights are on. And so I want to make it very easy for them to just on off. Anyway, if you live in the New York area, I'm going to be posting about it. I am going to be there for the opening, and then very exciting news, I'm also going to be coming back for the closing because I got to bring all the stuff back. But I'm going to be doing my show Going Up, which I haven't done in a really long time in Brooklyn. It's the Brooklyn Comedy Collective is where this gallery is, and they have multiple performance spaces and venues. I'm going to be performing in what I think is called their Eris space, and it's around the corner from the gallery. So my idea was at the end of the exhibit to come do the show, have a celebration, and then everybody before or after the show can come look at the gallery. So anyway, this room is, it is a miniature hotel room, okay? In progress. So you can see I have the headboard that I'm making. I'm making like your classic, I posted a video about this earlier this week, consulting people on what I was going to use for the carpet. And I hope to post more and more videos of me working on this project, but it just takes so much work to make videos. And it's like when you're busy making an actual thing, this is just a little tangent, whenever you see like, a trad wife, or a stay-at-home mom, a family YouTube blogger, and they're like, this is my morning routine, and you see a video that they've made, I'm always overwhelmed because I know the work it takes to make videos. Unless you have a crew that you've hired to come do this for you, to make a video that has a lot of cuts in it, like every little shot and, like a little close up of you putting creamer in your coffee. And then now you're here and like, there's all these cuts. I don't think people understand the level of work that takes. Hours and hours of editing, the shoot itself. It's not a reality show. These people are not being followed around by a camera and then a whole crew goes and takes care of the rest and cuts it down. This is a planned out shoot. So anyway, when I post stuff, it's like even just a short little video, like how I made this mini whatever, that is a day at least of work, a full day. And when you have a limited number of days in your life, right now I'm just really confronting my problem with overcommitting to things. I really let somebody down recently that I had promised to do something for, and I completely missed the boat. I like completely forgot about it, which I'm now aware that is a symptom of like how my brain works, that like, they talk about time blindness. I'm learning all these things about ADHD and it all makes so much sense. But just because you have knowledge about why you do something doesn't make it okay or excusable. Like, it's a problem that I've had, that I'm like looking back on all these situations in my life where I was like, God, I really maybe made things difficult for people around me. I've always considered myself great to work with, really hardworking, overachiever type. And I think I have excelled in many of my jobs. I've never been fired. So, but I think about jobs where like maybe I wasn't asked back, or I didn't get to continue working with those people anymore. And I can totally point to the thing that I did that probably caused that, which is like, I was really late turning something in, and it added cost to the project, I don't want to get into specifics because it's just like embarrassing and I don't want to like, I don't know. I just don't want to beat myself up too much, but I had something happen this week where I was like, fuck, I just totally fucking forgot to do this thing that I told somebody I was going to do. And it's not someone I know very well. It's someone I really like. And they just had to move on without my work. And I just fucked it up. Like, I even went back and saw an email I didn't even like ingest that they sent me. I didn't even read it, and it was like telling me when they needed it by, and I like completely just, my brain did not absorb that information. So anyway, I was a little blue yesterday because of that, and I just felt like, God, I'm trying so hard, and I'm working really hard on these issues and like making my life better balanced. And I should just learn how to say no to things, so that I'm not putting myself and other people in a position where I just physically don't have the time to get the thing done that they need me to do. I'm juggling a lot right now. I have like, I would say if you like break up little jobs I have like 5 jobs, and family commitments and things like that. And so, and like a life, like I have to take care of myself. So it's like I'm going outside and I'm gardening in the morning because that's how I get my morning dopamine hit and vitamin D. And like, I got to do that if the rest of the day is going to be productive. And blah, blah, blah. So anyway, lots going on in here. Okay. So anyway, back to this little miniature hotel room. I'm sorry. That again, tangents. We go on tangents. It's okay. So anyway, this is a classic, like, Holiday Inn Express, Hilton Garden Inn, Courtyard Marriott type hotel. Okay. I probably have been in over, I would say hundreds, if not 1,000 hotel rooms like this. Seriously. I've literally been to almost every state. I think there's only like 4 states I haven't been to in America. They're all the same. They blur together. I mean, this has now been over 10 years of me being on the road and traveling for work. And these hotel rooms they just blur together. Okay. I remember being on the road at times where it would be doing a long run, and I would just get into these modes where I'd be like, okay, like I would think, how am I even keeping up with what my hotel room number is? And they're all like the same, but I just had a little trick where I would just remember the direction I went in, and I would go, that's mine. I would just take a moment to memorize my room number, because one night to the next, it would be very easy to forget. So anyway, there would be times where I'd be like, where am I? What city am I in? I don't know if I'm going to get into the whole theme of this project, but this hotel room, or, this symbolism of this hotel room is going to become clear as part of the exhibit. But I have a lot of emotional memory in hotel rooms like this that I linger on. And I've had some really, really dark moments in hotel rooms, whether alone or even a long time ago with other people. Really bad memories. I would say probably some trauma. And so anyway, this is supposed to be like a funny art exhibit, but it will be. It is. But I'm exploring some dark shit with it. So anyway, this is a tiny hotel room. I've got lights that are going to come in. There's going to be a bathroom right here that you're going to be able to peek into. But yeah, I've been putting together these rooms by myself, and like, I could spend hours talking about just the progress I've made so far and how I made all these little things, and but the little tricks and stuff I've learned, and even come up with for this. But one thing I'm realizing is, like, when you see a miniaturist, I mean, unless they're like some sort of genius, and maybe if they have a 3D printer, but 3D printers, just from people that I follow that are miniaturists, takes an enormous amount of work and experimentation and failure to get it right. So on one hand, I think 3D printing can be a little bit of a cheat, because you can really make stuff look real. Like, there's this woman I follow. She makes like a tiny Dyson vacuum that looks real. And that's really cool. Like, I definitely could not make an exact miniature of a Dyson vacuum without that technology. But I also I've looked into it before. It is really, when you're doing that advanced type of stuff, I think it's really hard to master and does take experimentation. But it's the same thing when you're hand making stuff, that, every single thing in here that you see, I made like 3 or 4, sometimes 10 versions of it before the final one is in here. Because there's a lot of failure and learning that goes into getting it to look the way you want it to look. And I'm really trying to make this look really good. So that's what I've been like deeply working on, and very excited about it so far. I have other pieces, like the bed is already made, but it's drying. It's a long story, but just to get fabric to look right in miniature, that's a whole other thing. Oh, I don't want to put it there. It might keel over. But I'm really excited about the other rooms. I will reveal as I go. I gotta move quick. One of the things I love about miniatures is repurposing stuff, trash even, for the purpose of making a miniature. So for instance, like I collect, that sounds so crazy, I only have one bin of this kind of thing, but little plastic packaging, okay? Especially clear. Who knows what came in this? No idea. But I saved it because I thought that looks like maybe a sink in miniature, right? Looks like a sink or something, or a basin of some kind. And even if I don't use this exact piece, I can use this to create a mold with clay or resin or, you know, whatever. And then recreate a shape the way I want it. So I've been experimenting with that. Making tiny pillows. I mean, hello. Like that's just some white fabric. I sewed it. I put a little white like puff ball I got in there for the cushioning. Super cute. And then like, you know, the stuff in the hotel room, like I'm trying to, you know, the unit, like the AC unit, in by the window. I have this thing that I saved because I was like, this could be something one day. This had, like, I got this a long time ago. Some little pens came in it, like a little set of pens. And now I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like the little AC unit that is in a hotel room. So I might use this to create that. And then like in the thrift store the other day, this is like $1. There's these little air filters. I don't know what they're for. No idea. Something with Kenmore. Oh, it's a vacuum filter. Okay. I might be able to donate these afterwards to somebody who has this. But look at that little like shape, like the little lines. That looks like the vent potentially on this or elsewhere. And so I got these. I was like, that looks like a little tiny vent. Or honestly, you know what it looks like? Oh my God, this is so exciting. It looks like a window with blinds. Doesn't it? Wait, I should get it out of the plastic because I don't want to, there could be glare. But look at this. That looks like a window that has like Venetian blinds in it or whatever, or like, I don't know what you call them, but doesn't that look like that in miniature? That is, see, your brain starts to see everything as potential for miniature. And so I'm going to find a use for these for sure. $1. One man's trash is my miniature creation. So I'm finally getting to use all these like things I've just been saving and collecting because I'm like, I know one day. Like for instance, I'm not going to get it out. It's like under a bunch of stuff, but like I'm using for the carpet for the hotel room. It's a placemat that I found. All right, let's move on. I'm going to get back to the miniatures for in the last part of the episode. But for now, Joann's did close this past week, which is really sad. I went the last like 2 days before they closed because I was going out of town. So I wasn't there on the very last day. But when I went, I mean, it had only been 1 week because I was going frequently, as you know. And from that penultimate visit to my final visit, God, there was like seriously almost nothing left. And it was crazy how and they were doing crazy deals. And I was like, gosh, I wish I had been here on the day that they put up the signs for the final deals. because by the time I got there, I think everything was taken that, you were getting like serious discounts on. Like they were running where, you could buy they were just had to get the fabric out of there. So you could get a bolt of fabric, the whole bolt, whatever was on it. You still had to pay for the yardage, but the rate for that yardage was like 60 or 70% off, plus an additional 50% off if you bought the whole roll. So, I mean, we're talking like stuff that, it was just so discounted. Then on top of everything else, so things were now down 70% off to 90% off in the whole store. And then when you got to the register, after they rung all that up, an additional 30% off. So I was getting shit for like pennies. Like I had a cart full of stuff. And then, they were like, we're selling the fixtures and blah, blah, blah. So, and I've talked about how I've bought some fixtures. But I got brave. I saw something in the store that I thought, God, that looks like modern art. And I took a picture of it and like posted it on my Instagram. And I love it. And then somebody was like, you should buy that. You could see if they let you have it. And I was like, no, it's definitely already claimed. Because I think a lot of the cool stuff, the employees are like, I want that, Anyway, I had the bravery to ask for it. It is right here. I'm going to lift it up to show you. Ooh. Okay, so this, let's put it right here. This is the piece, if you probably can't see me, but whatever. This is a piece of pegboard from the aisle where the paint pens were sold. And if you'd ever been in a Joann's, and I think other places are like this too, wherever they're selling markers, there's just everyone's sampling and testing, even if they're not allowed to. And it became kind of like a graffiti wall, while the store still was selling that stuff before all the displays were taken off. This was collecting people's various, we've got one here, suck my balls, love it. But like just random graffiti, and like the drips look so cool. And anyway, I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna ask, like, and I'm not the type of person that normally asks. And I was like, can I buy that? And they were like, yeah, it's like $15. And I was like, $15? Ugh. And they let me get it, and they helped me get it down, and I took it, and I was like so excited. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to try to do it on today's episode. We'll see how far I get. I'm going to try to cut a piece out of this and frame it and then hang it, because I already have pegboard. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. I'll also try to do it with the other pieces too and save every bit and either find a use for it or give it to somebody. But I'm going to try to frame this part. So let's see what I can do. So my idea is to take a frame that I got at Goodwill and try to put the piece of pegboard in the frame. So let's see if we can do it. I'll show you what I got. So first I was like looking at frames, like poster frames and stuff, like around the size that I would want at Michael's and Target. And I was like, oh, shit's expensive. Like a really cheap poster frame, like 30 inches by 24, around that size. At Target was like $28, and then the nicer ones with wood and stuff at Michael's were like $75, $100. Like I was like, oh shit. So I went to Goodwill and I found this one. I found this for $10. Speaking of a Hilton Garden Inn, no offense to this artist, but I don't really care about it much. It's not ugly, but it's not amazing either. Anyway, I'm going to try to use this frame. So, I talked about this last episode when you can like repurpose a frame. All right. I'm going to put it down here, and this was professionally finished by Michael's. So what I do when I buy a frame like this and it's been professionally framed and it's not just like plug and play, is I just take it apart and see what I can do. We're gonna find out together, can I use this frame? I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. All right, first off, we're gonna take this stuff off, all right? In fact, I'm just gonna look under the paper really quick. Oh yeah, we're gonna be able to do this really easy. Okay, so I'm just gonna unscrew these thingies and save this stuff, because then you can just put it right back in as your hanging hardware. So don't lose this stuff. Let me actually get a little bit. Okay, don't lose your little pieces, because you can just, it's so much easier just to use what it came with than to try and do it all over anew again. Okay, so take that out. And every frame, custom frame, or like professionally framed, whether it's been mass produced or it was made by some, you know, someone went and took something to get framed, it's always done differently. I've noticed sometimes it's got staples, sometimes it's old, you know, different time periods, has different stuff in there, different hardware, different hanging mechanisms. So I've done it enough now where I kind of know all the different ways. Some are these like frames that are like have these metal pieces in it, like holding it, and those are kind of tricky to figure out. But you know, you just tinker around, and when the stakes are so low, because I spent $10 on this, it's fun to just be like, well, what could go wrong, you know, and like, who am I, you know, what am I going to lose by just seeing if I could repurpose this for what I want in the frame? So I highly recommend doing this if you have the time, because it saves you so much money and it looks way more professional than some cheap ass frame that you're going to get where you just put it in behind a piece of plastic, basically. Okay, so this is off. That aside. All right. Next step is to get this paper off. Now you can just tear it, but I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna use a knife to make it faster. My box cutter, I think, is upstairs. So I'm just using an X-Acto knife just to get this off. Now, when you reframe it, now I don't put, you know, I'm just putting a piece of pegboard in here. I'm not putting some precious document or painting or photo or something. So like, I don't need to put paper back on this thing. So I can just tear this and throw it away. And if you really wanted to, you know, the thing is, you do this and you learn how they do it. You're like, oh, and then they put a piece of paper on it. Looks like they used some glue, and you know. So, you could always put paper back on this, but like brown craft paper that you get rolls of, you could do that if you wanted to protect it. You can go as fancy as you want. Whee! Okay. Get rid of it. All right. Okay. And I didn't even bother looking up what this artwork is. What if I'm like destroying like an extremely valuable piece of art? I'm not gonna destroy what's being framed, but I'm destroying the frame for sure. Kind of. All right. So these thingies, if you can see in the overhead shot, these thingies are just little like metal pieces. They will come out. They will slide out. But I just do the old bend it upwards. Wait, let me actually see. Yeah, see, these are going to come right out. So I don't know if they use a little gun to put these in or they hand nail those in. I may not even need to use these for what my purposes are. But if you're going to frame something, a painting or something like that, or a picture, definitely save these. Your instinct is to bend them upwards, which you can do, but they're going to come out or they're going to break. So just literally take it apart the way that they would have. You know, like you're reverse doing what they did. Here, I'm going to use some pliers here. You can use some pliers to pull them out. And you don't have to reframe it using what they used. You could like staple it in. You can do all kinds of stuff to get it to stay. Because this is so big, it's kind of time consuming. There we go. I'm probably, if this works, I might just glue it because it's just a piece of pegboard, right? I'm preserving history, I guess. But I'm not trying to like, I don't know. We'll see what I think works best when I get this in here. Okay, we're almost done. I know I'm out of frame. I know you miss me. We'll cut this or speed it up. All right, so now I've taken all those little things out, and now it should just lift out. And look at this. For 10 bucks, I also procured a big old piece of foam core, which foam core can be kind of pricey. So that's great. I can reuse this piece because I'm probably not going to need it in the frame behind the pegboard. But let's just see. We'll see what I'm going to do. But yeah. Piece of foam core, huge one, nice. All right, so now the artwork comes out. This is a poster. Let's actually try to see what this is. What if I find out this is valuable? Hold on. It says Belles. It could just be a poster of a famous piece of work. So it's D'Or et de Rêve by Émile Bellet. Self-taught artist that aligned himself with the discipline of the Fauves, a school of artists who lived at the turn of the 20th century that includes Matisse, Cézanne. Oh, yeah. They painted in vivid, non-authentic color, and Bellet mastered this discipline with an impasto knife, using highly saturated colors to paint his elongated mannerist forms. All right. This is a poster of some kind. It might be, I don't know. I will save it. We'll see if I can sell it unframed. Okay, so now we have the mat. The mat, first off, just so you know, oh God, okay. Mat can be bent really easily and get crinkled. So when you're handling this and it can get stained, be careful, because if you want it to look really good, you do not want to fuck this up. So make sure you set it somewhere. I've obviously learned from my own mistakes here. All right, now I don't think that I'm going to use glass on this frame. I think I'd rather it be like just raw, like showing the pegboard. So I'm going to take the piece of glass out. What I'm going to do with this glass, I'm not sure yet. I might just recycle it. I don't really know if I'm going to have a use for it. Okay, now we have the frame. I think what I'm going to do potentially is use the mat. But let's see. Now, I didn't cut my piece of pegboard yet because I want to see exactly where I want to cut. So I'm going to bring this up here. I don't know if this was a good idea. I'm going to go the other way. All right, so I'm probably going to want to use this portion. So I'm going to put the mat on top to see if I like it with the mat. It's also like you're dealing, one of the things, you know, by doing this method is you're just sort of like working with whatever colors came in the frame, okay? So I'm using this to see, maybe I want matte on it. It's interesting because I don't really have like the perfect size frame for what I wanted to frame, which was like this part. But I kind of like it being sort of wonky. Like I can't center this part because it goes all the way to the edge and it's just not, I don't know. Let's look at this side. That might look better. So I'm not sure I'm actually going to continue with this particular frame because I don't really like, the other option is to like use pieces of pegboard to create, yeah, that might work. So what I could do is put some foam core up under here to create the actual like edge that I need. If I go all the way to this edge, right? I actually think that could work. Am I gonna do all that or should I just get a smaller frame? I feel like I should pause because I don't want to regret this and look at it and go, oh, I shouldn't have been impatient. I should have just gotten the size frame that I wanted for it and really got more exact. But I can still use this frame for something else. For sure. I have other things that would fit in there. Yeah, I don't hate this. But I want to compare. So I want to get another frame, you know, that's a little bit smaller so I can see which one do I really like better. So I'm going to pause. All right, so let's move on from that. We're going to come back to that. Put a pin in the framing of the pegboard because I want to make sure it's exactly what I want. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to find another frame to choose from and see which one I like better. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the episode, we're not really fully making a craft today, but that's okay. We got started on one. All right, I am going to go through this bin of miniatures because, so I'm, as I talked about at the beginning, I'm working on this miniature project, for this art residency, I guess is what we're calling it now in my brain. And I have several rooms that I'm going to be creating, and I have a lot of miniatures. I have a lot of furniture. Some of it I made, but most of it's just stuff I've collected. Some of it's from when I was a child. It's even older than me. It was my big sister's. Some of it I've just acquired over the years, and a lot of my like little miniatures, like little tiny things, like a little book and a little teacup, like those are in my miniature shelves throughout the house, and those I will raid those too for little details, you know, to add to each scene. But if I can reuse something I already have for one of these, I will definitely do it to save time. So I've been meaning to go through this box, and I figured we could do it together, and I could just show you some of my miniatures quickly here. And you know, this is just a perfect example of just crap that I have collected. Like, can't even remember where I got these little rugs, but they're really cute. Doing carpeting and fabric in miniature is challenging because fabric just acts a certain way, and it's hard to shrink that down, the weight of it, but there's tricks you can do. So I don't think I'm gonna need these. Maybe this blue one, but I'm just gonna save it in case I do for one of the rooms. This is some blue looks like blue carpeting, dollhouse size carpeting. See, it's like specially made, I can tell, because this looks, you know, it has like a smaller pile to it, right? I definitely am not going to need this for the rooms that I'm making. Definitely want this rug. I think I got this in Europe. Yep, I got this in Finland. See, I'm so excited to use a bunch of this stuff. I might use this rug. All right, we're getting into it, y'all. This is a perfectly packed box. This is a fancy chair. Some of this stuff is wrapped up. I don't know if I want to unwrap every little thing because it'll take forever, and plus then I have to rewrap it. But you can see so much of dollhouse stuff from growing up and even now is just too ornate. It's like, you know, I don't need my dollhouse to be from the Victorian era. Okay, let's update it. I made this shelf years ago for a scene I was making of like a Brooklyn apartment, and I definitely might use that. So we'll keep that out. Look at this little bench someone gave me. My old hairstylist in LA, her husband did some mini fabrications and gave me some stuff, and this is one of those things. Look at that cute little bench. Let me think of my rooms really quick. Oh, okay, yeah, don't forget that one. I don't need this. Well, maybe I will. Let's leave it out. I'm not gonna need this sink, but that is cute. Look, it's got open cabinets that open. You love functionality, you know. Very cute. All right. I love this. So this, I made this. This is a desk. All right, a big old executive desk that I made. I made it when I created a miniature late night comedy, like a talk show set. And I made it out of these like cardboard letters that you get. And I layered 3 of them because it was that curve, that great curve. And I cut them and layered them, and it looks like a late night host desk. See, look. Sorry, we're getting, like, see how you can just, I pinned down this fabric to make it look like a messy, unmade bed. And that's why fabric is so hard to deal with, because if I had just put this down, it would have been all flopping and up in the air because it just doesn't have the weight in miniature that it would in large scale. So there's different tricks you can do. I used pins for this one. But some fabric, it's really, you can't do that. And if you don't want the pins to be showing, there's tricks. I might show you in a future episode. Okay, we've got this chair. Somebody's asked me online, am I gonna put a cuck chair in the hotel room? And I had never heard that term before, but I knew exactly what it meant as soon as they said it. Every hotel room does have a cuck chair. If you don't know what I'm saying, look it up. And I think this is too ornate for a hotel like that I'm trying to make. This is a little bit too, that is like the shape of a cuck chair. So I might actually leave it out in case I need to reference it when I'm making my own. Oh yeah. In a fancier like W hotel, this could be the cuck chair, but I think this is a little bit too designy, and this did have cushions at some point, but this is like one of those designy chairs. I've got so much stuff. Coffee table. Definitely might need a coffee table. I want you to start guessing what kind of rooms I'm gonna be making. I made this little like wardrobe for the bear scene, and I modeled it after an actual piece of furniture that we had growing up and that my brother now has. My niece has it in her room, and I put like a little sink there. Look at that. And this opens. I made this from scratch. I'm so proud of it. But I'm not gonna need it for this. Nope. And I love my minis. Okay, look at this like little modern lamp. Now this could go in the corner of the hotel room for sure, but it's kind of busted. I probably could wire the light to see if it works. I might be able to work with this. Oh, I love finding all this stuff I made. I made a red velvet rope for one of my scenes that I was making of like the outside of a comedy club where people were in line. That was a challenge. challenge. This was a challenge to make, but I made this. I don't know if this is entertaining to you at all. Ooh, I love this blanket. This miniature blanket. I think I bought this at a miniature show. This, this really could be that stupid blanket that's on the bed in the hotel room, but it's too nice to be. They put that piece of fabric on the end of the bed. It's like, what's the point of this other than to spread germs? And I don't even want to touch it. A folding table. Look how cute this is. They come up with everything in miniature. Look at this. It's like a real folding card table. That is so cute. Don't think I need it, but I'm gonna leave it out because, don't break it. But I'm gonna leave it out because I might. Okay. Oh my God, this mattress. This was the mattress my sister had in her dollhouse growing up. So this shit is probably older than me. Some pillows, a blanket. Oh my God, this was from my dollhouse. Like, is this a blanket or is it a rug? I don't know, but I just like the memories of these little pieces. I played with them so much. My little sister would set up scenes. Look at this little ottoman. Look how cute that is. I don't need that, but that is so cute. Oh. This was my kitchen table in my dollhouse growing up. Look how cute that is. That's classic. Let's see what this says. Made exclusively for Concord Miniatures. I used to save up all my allowance money and go buy miniatures at this place called the American Store in Richmond, or technically, yeah, I think it's in the city limits, but down on Midlothian Turnpike, and it was, now there's like a casino there. It's called like or like a gaming place. It's called Rosie's? I don't know. But yeah, it was the stores, kind of like Walmart, pre-Walmart. There was no Walmart yet, and it had like everything, and they had dollhouse furniture, and I would save up my money to buy pieces of dollhouse furniture. I'm gonna leave this out just in case I need a table, like a generic table. A little toilet. This is the classic toilet that like most people, they had a little bathroom set, and this is the classic toilet that most people had. And the fact that it like functioned and like had the both seats going up and down was very special. A little garden stand. Sink. Little farmhouse sink. I had a whole comedy bit about how dollhouse dolls are so creepy. Oh man, this is one of the OG. Look at that. Look at that really fucked up looking baby girl. Oh yeah. Look at her. It's just a fucking mess. Oh, this was the kid. I forget what we would call him, but he was like the little boy that would always get in trouble in the dollhouse. He was just a menace. Oh, wow. Look at her head. She looks like a fucking serial killer. What the hell? These dolls were so weird looking. And honestly, they have not improved the design hardly at all. Like, I was getting dolls for a while to do this miniature comedy show, and it was just so... The doll selection out there is really fucked up. Oh, this rug. I used to love this rug. This was from my original dollhouse. It might have been my older sister's. We realized that there's just a blur on whose stuff was whose when... And if you have older siblings, you know. I mean, if you have siblings at all, you know the, like... You know, you get hand-me-downs when you're the younger kids. And so there's a blur of like what belonged to who. But if you're the oldest, I think you think it was all yours because it was given to you. Why would you not think that? Like, oh, I got that for my 8th birthday. I remember that. Well, when you stopped playing for it, it was given to me, playing with it, it was given to me. And so my memory is that it was mine. So, I don't know. It's stupid drama, but like, when, unfortunately, well, if you are fortunate to not die young and you go through the normal life experience of losing a parent, then, you know, you're probably going to have to go through the experience of going through your parents' stuff. And after my mom died and my dad moved out of the house that we had been living in for many years before, you know, we moved there into that house when I was like 12 years old. So it was, and my mom died when I was 30 or 29 or 30. So, you know, a long time had been spent in that house. Anyway, he sold the house and we had to go through everything. He was downsizing. It was like very emotional. And that's where, when it's like bigger stuff in the house and there's a lot of sentimental value, some of that stuff of like, whose was this really? It led to a little bit of breakdown in communication and some drama, but we worked it out and it was all good. Got a big old fireplace, which is great. Wow. An old chandelier that you could plug in. Let's actually see if it works. This is crazy. It's old. This thing is old. So I've been working on wiring the lighting for this project, and I'm using round wire system. There's a tape wire method and a round wire method if you're doing dollhouse lighting. And either way, you might use one of these little, this is like a power strip for dollhouse lighting. And once you get the system down and you know what you're doing, it's actually not that hard. It's intimidating at first though, and thank God for YouTube videos. Compatible, see the plug? You see that plug? Yeah. I don't even know if this is compatible with this system. I'm about to like set my whole house on fire. But let's just try it. Oh my God! It worked! That is so cool. I'd have to like probably rewire it to be a plug that actually fits. But that's cool. It still worked. It's like a music, wait, here, can you hear that? Oh, I'm gonna open this up because this is truly, I think, probably my favorite piece of dollhouse furniture from growing up. Obsessed with this. Absolutely obsessed with it. It just captivated me for some reason. Okay, it's like a hutch for the kitchen, or like a buffet for the kitchen, okay? Why I was obsessed with this, I'll tell you why. Because I would display, like, it was a kitchen, so I loved anything displaying food and dishes, and these open, and you could put little cups in there, and then that open, and then there was like a little cutting board. Oh, storage, this drawer opens, but it's missing the handle. I mean, this just, I don't know, I just loved this piece. Like, it meant everything to me. I don't know why. Another table. Oh, this was cool. It's broken. The table legs tend to fall off. But look, it had like, it expands. Like, it actually expands for the leaf. Oh. All right, I'm gonna stop here. There's one more box I could go through. Just, I have so much. It's not that much, but I have one more little bin I could go through, but we're not gonna do that today. I think you've gotten the idea. But I really thank you for joining me today. I know it's sort of a like random episode, but next time we're gonna complete the pegboard project, and I'll show you how I do that. So you can see like how, if you're gonna do this kind of like your own DIY framing, how to get it back to being framed. If it's not self-explanatory, I will walk you through it. And just little tricks that I've learned and stuff about that. And I'll show you my progress on my miniature art show, which I'm very excited about. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I can't wait to continue working on all this stuff, but I needed to go through this to get this stuff out. So you're helping me get stuff done, and I appreciate that. All right. Signing off. What is there a sign off? Like, should I have a phrase that's like, you know, whatever. Maybe we'll come up with something. But I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. I love you so much. I guess that's it. I love you so much. Bye. I'm done!